I got to say, I think I might have chose the wrong strategy today, but I got to stick with it because I already picked it. So I wrote my remarks down so that I could be, hopefully, keep on time, even though we were told we had 9 minutes. So I'm going to be like 30 seconds long. Coming out of the Great Depression, President Roosevelt told his fellow Democrats in 1936 that liberty requires opportunity to make a living decent according to the standard of the time. A living that gives man not only enough to live by, but something to live for. Without this opportunity, he continued, life was no longer free, liberty no longer real, men could no longer follow the pursuit of happiness. The dream that America is not being able to survive from one day to the next, but knowing that if you have the requisite ability and work hard, you will have the opportunity to thrive. However, our current bifurcated welfare system, where income policies are targeted at the poor and wealth policies are reserved for the rich, the poor are condemned to live paycheck to paycheck, while only the wealthy are given the means to thrive. Today, I am going to provide 4 concrete steps you can take in your local communities to give poor families the opportunity to break the cycle of poverty and begin to live the American dream. Step 1, give every child a children's savings account, or CSA, as a platform for a wealth transfer. Existing CSA programs are of the small dollar variety, $5 to $1,000 initial deposit, and focus on education, thus largely ignored in broader poverty discussions. They typically start at birth or kindergarten. Family investments are leveraged with matching donor funds, usually at a 1-to-1 ratio. What makes CSAs the ideal vehicle for the next great wealth transfer and current small dollar CSAs of such great importance is not their ability to help children pay for college or reduce wealth inequality. It is the body of research demonstrating the potential for additional effects. With regard to early education, experimental test of CSAs finds infants who were randomly assigned to receive a CSA demonstrated significantly higher social-emotional skills at age 4 than their counterparts without a CSA. These effects are stronger among low-income families. CSAs give parents new hope for their children's futures. It may change how they interact. Children with improved social-emotional skills display attitudes and behavior that position them for academic achievement. With regard to enrollment and persistence in college, a randomized controlled trial in Italy now shows that CSAs have a causal relationship with college enrollment and performance in college. However, it is perhaps in the post-college period that CSAs rise highest above other forms of financial aid. Evidence suggests that CSAs may be a gateway not only to greater educational attainment, itself a conduit of economic mobility, but also a more diversified asset portfolio that may result in greater asset accumulation in other forms, such as retirement accounts and real estate. Despite this, small dollar CSAs are not enough to provide disadvantaged children with the bargaining power they need to thrive in society. Changing bargaining power requires changing distribution of resources in society. Though successfully branded as un-American by some, as formulated here, the idea of a wealth transfer is completely consistent with American history and with our collective narrative of individual effort. It is about equipping all children with tools that complement their own contributions, as American as the plow, the automobile, or the iPhone. Economist Derek Hamilton suggests that a wealth transfer of $20,000 to $50,000 is needed to meaningfully close the wealth gap. In our new book, Making Education Work for the Poor, we suggest at a minimum, a wealth transfer of $10,500 is needed. CSAs with $10,500 in a dedicated investment account with $5 a month contributions, far less than what rewards cards program could potentially provide, would allow even the most disadvantaged children to turn 18 with approximately $40,000 in their account. This is not a simple proposition. The wealth transfer must be progressive. That is, the poor receive a larger transfer than the rich. Research shows that a universal progressive children's asset building intervention, $7,500 for the least wealthy, $1,250 for the most wealthy, could reduce the Latino white wealth gap by 28% and the black-white wealth gap by 23%. I should give a shout out to Thomas Shapiro here and his camp for that. Yeah. This 21st century wealth transfer could change the distribution of opportunity as dramatically as extended land ownership or opening the doors of universities to previously excluded veterans. Step 2, combine CSAs with reward card programs to transform the effort of low-income families into saving. It does this by taking small dollar CSAs from what they are now, a niche idea around financing education, to a tool to fight wealth inequality. Combining rewards card programs with CSAs enables families, every time they make a purchase, using the card, even when making a purchase with food stamps, to receive a rebate of 1% to 4% that goes into their child's CSA. That ends up being up to $600 per year going into their CSA, over triple what the average family now contributes in their CSA. Unlike other asset-building programs for the poor that ask poor people to save from their small amounts of discretionary income after paying for basic needs, the rewards card program transforms spending into saving. These programs are not only important for the money they provide, but because they facilitate low-income families participating in savings process through their own use of effort, changing what engagement looks like in CSAs and providing families with a sense of having worked for their futures. These programs are currently being tested in randomized controlled trials in 3 CSA programs in the Midwest and are showing early promise. However, rewards cards and CSAs are still not enough to get our children to thriving and to transform small dollar CSAs into a meaningful tool for fighting wealth inequality. The third step is combining CSAs with a P card. P cards are government or business credit cards. The P card program provides governments as well as local communities the opportunity to receive a rebate. In one model, they will receive a 1.5% rebate on purchases made with the P card. It is estimated to gross up to $15 million annually. This $15 million goes into a general education fund that will be used to finance the city's CSA program and provide a large initial deposit. Step 4 is awarding scholarships early. For example, the College Board recommended supplementing the Pell Grant program by opening savings accounts for children as early as age 11 or 12, who would likely be eligible for Pell once they reach college age, and making annual deposits of 5 to 10% of the amount of the Pell Grant award for which they would be eligible. Furthermore, billions of dollars are provided every year in educational scholarships. What if some portion of those funds were placed in the children's account much earlier? What foundation, what state, what nation will be the first to transform their scholarship programs into early asset building programs? Together, these programs make up an asset building agenda for the poor that will allow them to thrive. Importantly, these are concrete ideas that require little new funding when built on existing CSA programs. When is the last time we as a country were unified enough to call for a wealth building program as grand as the Homestead Act or the GI Bill? It might be about time. It might be worth the fight. Changing our national culture so that we think about thriving instead of merely surviving will not be simple. However, this does not seem as daunting as flying to the moon must have seemed to people in 1961. We have the tools to make thriving a reality for poor children: CSAs, rewards cards, P cards, and early commitment scholarships. To do it, we just need to be able to dream once again and channel the dream into the will to fight for what we know is needed, giving poor people something to live for. Thank you.